To use a tuner, there's a few things that we need to know and be able to do in order not to break strings and to do it right. So first of all, let's learn what the strings of the guitar should be in standard tuning. When we look at them from the fattest string up to the thinnest string, let's focus in on that. So from the fattest string to the thinnest string, we would have E, A, D, G, B, E. A way to remember this is you could say Ed ate dynamite, goodbye Ed. Ed ate dynamite, goodbye Ed. So that's what the string should be to start with. Now, if it's close to that pitch, it's easy to see on the tuner. Let me give you an example. I'm gonna clip my tuner on here. This is the Snark tuner. I highly recommend it. It basically clips on to the top of the guitar, and we'll turn it on. Oop. Clips on the top of the guitar, and it senses the vibrations from the guitar to kind of bypass like having to worry about putting a mic on it. So I'll turn it on, and I'm trying it closer here to the camera. We'll zoom in on that. Okay. I wonder if I can get any closer. There we go. Okay, so right now it says E, but it's to the left of E a little bit, which means it's flat of E. So I am going to tighten the string until it's all green. Now, that's first of all, that's another important principle about this, is that when you tighten a string, the pitch goes up. When you loosen the string, the pitch goes down. It's also really important because if you tighten a string too much, the string will snap. So we're going to learn how to avoid that in order to not have to buy strings every time you tune your guitar. So let's have another example. Let's try the B string. Let's see whether this. I haven't played this guitar in a while, so I mean it could be out of tune or not. But let's try the B string. Okay, B. It's a little flat again, so I'm going to go up. Oh, I went the wrong way. There we go. E and B, totally tuned. Now, let's come up with a trickier scenario here. Let's say it doesn't already say E or B on the tuner. That's going to be really important because it's not always going to say that. For instance, I'm going to tune this way out. Okay? Right now it says D sharp. So I mean, now it says D. So we know this isn't a D string. D string is still down a little bit more. It's supposed to be E, so in order to get it back up to E, we would need to tune it up. So we see D, and now we see D sharp. Sorry, I'm seeing a mirror image over there, so going the wrong way. Okay, now we have E again. So it's not always going to say the name of the pitch that you're looking for on the tuner, especially if it's a chromatic tuner like the Snark, which can tune any instrument, not just guitars. So, oh, that helps putting it in the center there, doesn't it? Okay, so basically, we need to know a little bit about music in order to tune the guitar. First, we'll talk about the musical alphabet. The musical alphabet is, if you usually would, a lot of times you start from C, you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Again, this stack guitar is out of tune right now. But So you have C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. Now the musical alphabet basically can start from any point. You could start it from A. You could say A, B, C, D, E, F, G. A, B, C, D, E, F, G. So it starts over again after you're done with that. So there's obviously no H, no I, nothing like that. It just goes A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, and so on and so forth. Now, when you reach another A or another C or whatever, it's like say C, D, E, F, G, A, B, now C, that means that C is an octave higher than the C you first mentioned. So it kind of goes like that and it repeats itself. That's why on a piano keyboard you'll see a number of different C's or a number of different, any notes really. So the next thing we have to know about this is basically what about the sharps and flats in between? And I think that's a big question a lot of people have because they don't know exactly what to do or which way to go. Basically, when we see a sharp or a flat, it means one of two things. You have sharp, meaning a little bit higher than, and then you have flat, meaning a little bit lower than. So for instance, you could have an F, no I'm sorry, I'll use a better example, a G, okay, and you go one fret up, you have a G sharp. Back to your G. Now if you go one fret lower than that G, you actually have G flat. So sharp is a little bit higher, G is a little bit lower. Now there's a rule in the alphabet, the musical alphabet, that kind of determines where these sharps and flats are. In between B and C, there are no sharps or flats. In between E and F, there are no sharps or flats. So basically, you can have a B flat, but you won't see a B sharp. You can have a C sharp, but you won't see a C flat. So B and C, there's nothing in between. Now, but around it there are. E and F, same way. You won't see an E sharp, you won't see an F flat. Now there are pieces of music that use F flat or E sharp, but they're really, really uncommon, and they're mostly in the realm of classical music and stuff like that. So you really just never ever see it. So don't have to worry about it. Next, okay, so the thing is we have the sharps and the flats. Now here's one more confusing thing about it, is all the sharps and flats actually have two names. So when you have an E flat, it's actually also a D sharp. And commonly it's known that whatever way you're coming from dictates how you're going to say it. It gets more complicated than that later, but you know, for instance, if you're going up a scale, you would have A, B, C, D, D sharp. If you're going down the scale, it would be something like G, F, E, E flat. Okay, so I have a diagram I can show which can describe this. Basically, it'll show the whole alphabet going across, and you have A, and then you have this note here which says A sharp / B flat, and then you have B. Those were 3 notes, not 4. You have A is one note, A sharp / B flat is another note, and B is totally another note. So that's how that works. So for instance, and again, we'll take it back to the tuner. Let this focus in on it. Turn this on and focus in. There we go. If we go back to the tuner, and I'm going to just put something wildly out of tune. Here, let's do it a little bit differently. Okay, so this is D sharp right now. Now this string is supposed to be D. So if you have a D sharp and you have to get to a D, let's think about this problem now. It's D sharp, so that means if we read it again, sharp is a little bit higher than, right? So this is a note that's a little bit higher than D. So that means we need to go down. It is true that if you kept winding this and tightening it, you would eventually get back to D. But that would take you through all these notes. You'd have to tighten it a lot, which would most definitely break the string. So we really need to know our music. Like for instance, let's say this said E. Okay, we have E now. So we're not even near, we're not on D at all. And now the confusing part about this is that when you don't know the musical alphabet and you don't have it committed to memory, it's really hard to know what's what. So we're at E now. So in our minds we have to know that E, just like the regular alphabet, is two, well, it's one letter above D, but we also know in the musical alphabet we have a note in between that. We have a flat or a sharp in between that. So we go down. There we go. So that's how we do that. And again, we need to remember the certain little tips we have for reminding ourselves what the strings were supposed to be. Remember, from the fattest string down to here, it's actually not really the way I like to do that, because typically the thinnest string is known as the first string, and this is the sixth string, but you know, there's different ways of doing it. Ed, 8, dynamite, goodbye, Ed. One of my 5-year-old students came up with every bully goes down an elevator. That's the other way, so that's starting from the top string. Every bully goes down an elevator. I have no idea what that means. Oh wow, that sounds terrible. I'm gonna go tune my guitar.